When talking about some of the greatest high school teams of all time, you could talk about 1983 Dunbar, who went 31-0, had a victory margin of 36 points. You could talk about 1993 Oak Hill, who went 36-0, had a 37-point margin of victory. Recently in 2016, you had Chino Hills, who went 35-0, had a margin of victory of 28 points. But what about 2020 Montverde Academy with Cade in them?
2020 Montverde, that's Cade in them?
Who's on that team? Cade and all them?
That's Cade in them, right?
Oh yeah, that team. Yeah, that team was tough.
They would beat the crap out of Chino.
Those three schools I talked about had multiple players play D1, multiple players playing in the NBA. But a lot of people talk about 2020 Montverde Academy, who went 25-0, being one of the best high school and maybe the best high school team of all time. So let's talk about all the players from that team and where they are now. Just a little bit more backstory in that 2020 Montverde Academy team. They averaged 87 points per game and they allowed on average 48 points per game. Like I said, they went 25-0, had a margin of victory of 39 points. And this team was led by senior guard Cade Cunningham, who was committed to play basketball at Oklahoma State. Cade got offers from Florida, Kentucky, UNC, and Washington, but decided to play for the Cowboys. And during that 2020 season for Montverde Academy, he averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. Cade was the #2 ranked recruit in all of high school basketball. Went on to play 27 games at Oklahoma State, averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and led them to a March Madness appearance. He did that on 44% shooting, 40% from 3, and 85% from the line. And what was a very good 2021 recruiting class, Cade ended up being the #1 overall pick pretty consensusly as well in the 2021 NBA draft by the Detroit Pistons. He finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting in the 2022 NBA season, averaged 20 points in just 12 games in his sophomore year, and recently in year number 3 for Cade, averaged 22.5 points, 7.5 assists, 4.3 rebounds, shot 45% from the field, and just got a massive max contract extension from the Detroit Pistons in the 2024 offseason. Next up in the starting lineup at the shooting guard position, you had Moses Moody, a 6'5 senior that ended up committing to Arkansas. Moody during the 2020 season for Montverde Academy averaged 11 points and 3.3 rebounds a night, was the 45th ranked recruit. He received offers from Florida, Kansas, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and USC, but like I said, decided to play at Arkansas, where he was from. Moody in his freshman year at Arkansas averaged 17 points and 6 rebounds a night. He shot 43% from the field and 36% from 3 for the Razorbacks. He ended up getting drafted with the last lottery pick in the 2021 NBA draft by the Golden State Warriors. He hasn't been as successful as Cade Cunningham in the NBA. He averaged 4.5 points as a rookie in 52 games, 4.8 points as a sophomore in 63 games, but did have the best year of his NBA career in the 2024 season, averaging 8 points and shot 46% from the field for the Golden State Warriors, and is expected to have a very large role for them this season. Next up at the small forward position for the Montverde Eagles, you had Scotty Barnes, a 6'8 senior who averaged 11.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists a night. Was projected to be a point forward in collegiate basketball and hopefully in the NBA. He was the 5th ranked recruit in all of high school basketball. He got offers from Cal, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, Miami, Ohio State, and Oregon, but decided to play at Florida State, a couple hours where he was originally from in West Palm Beach. Barnes played 1 year at Florida State and was a one and done as a freshman. In 24 games for the Seminoles, he averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists a night. He did shoot 50% from the field, but one knock on Scotty was he could not shoot whatsoever. He shot 27% from 3 and 62% from the line, but he worked on that a ton going into the 2021 NBA draft. He ended up being the 4th overall pick by the Toronto Raptors, shocking a lot of people when he went above Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Kuminga, and he has been one of the best rookies from this class. He was the Rookie of the Year winner, averaging 15 points and 7.5 rebounds in his rookie season in 74 games. In 2023, in his sophomore year, he played 77 games, averaging 15 points once again, but his rebounds dropped from 7.5 to 6.5. The assists did increase though from 3.5 to 4.8 a night as he was transitioning into more of a point forward, and then last year broke out and was an all-star for the Toronto Raptors, averaging 19.9 points, 6.1 assists, and 8.2 rebounds a night. All career highs, shot 48% from the field and 34% from 3, the best shooting season of Barnes' career. We've talked about 3 NBA talents, and we're just 3 players through this team. At the power forward position, you had Caleb Houston, a 6'7 sophomore who ended up reclassifying. He averaged 10 points and 3.5 rebounds for the Eagles and ended up going to college a year early in the 2022 season. Caleb Houston was the 96th ranked recruit in the 2021 class. He got offers from Alabama, Duke, Virginia, and Michigan and opted to play for the Wolverines. Wolverines. During the 2022 season with the Wolverines, he averaged 10 points and 4 rebounds and shot 38% from the field and 36% from three. It was a disappointing year for Houston at Michigan. Houston ended up being a second-round pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the 32nd overall pick by the Orlando Magic, where he ended up averaging 3.8 points as a rookie in 15.5 minutes a night. And in year number 2, last year for the Orlando Magic, he averaged 4 points on 38% shooting. We're now 4 for 4 with NBA players from that starting lineup for Montverde. And the last starter, you had a 6'10 senior who averaged 12 points and 7 rebounds a night for the Eagles in Dron Sharp. Sharp was the 12th ranked recruit for all of high school basketball that season. He only got one offer and signed it with the UNC Tar Heels. Sharp being from Winterville, North Carolina, it was a no-brainer decision for him. Sharp was a one and done at UNC where he averaged 9.5 points and 7.5 rebounds for the Tar Heels. He shot 51% from the field in 29 games and ended up being the 29th overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft by the Brooklyn Nets. He averaged 6.2 points as a rookie, 4.7 points as a sophomore, but 6.8 points in year number 3 last year for Brooklyn, and it's looking like he's getting better and better each season. So that makes everybody that was in the starting lineup for the 2020 Montverde team as an NBA player, which is incredibly rare. 4 of those 5 players were first-round picks in the 2021 draft in Cade, Moses Moody, Scotty Barnes, and Dron Sharp, and Caleb Houston, like I mentioned, was a second-rounder in 2022. Now for the rest of the roster, you did have 6'5 sophomore Derek Whitehead coming off the bench. Whitehead, like Houston, reclassified and went to college a year early. He was in the class of 2022 and was the second-ranked recruit in all of high school basketball. He got offers from major programs like Florida State, Kansas, LSU, Seton Hall, Tennessee, and others. He ended up playing at Duke, where he ended up being an elite three-point shooter for the Duke Blue Devils. He shot 43% from 3 in 28 games in the 2023 collegiate season as an 18-year-old, averaging 8 points and 2.5 rebounds, and ended up being a first-round pick, 22nd overall in the 2023 NBA draft, but has only played 2 games in the NBA so far due to injuries. Next up off the bench, you had senior Ryannard, who was in the 2021 class. He was the 62nd ranked high school recruit. He got offers to play at Florida and Stanford, but as well as Creighton, where he ended up signing and committing to. He averaged 11 points and 4.5 assists a night for the Creighton Blue Jays in the 2022 season. He played at Creighton again in his sophomore year, averaging 12 points and 5 assists a night, but he did transfer to Gonzaga for his junior year in the 2024 season, averaging 12.5 points and shot 44% from the field, as well as 32% from 3, and will be playing for Gonzaga again for his senior year in 2025. Off the bench, they had another guard by the name of Langston Love, who was the 28th ranked recruit going into the collegiate class of 2021. He got offers from Arkansas, Marquette, Oklahoma, and so many others. He ended up signing with Baylor. He was redshirted due to medicals in all of the 2022 season. He played in 30 games as a freshman in the 2023 season for the Baylor Bears, averaging 6 points and 2 rebounds a night, starting just 2 of those games, but had a much larger role in the 2024 season, where he averaged 11 points and 3 rebounds a night, shooting 46% from the field and 48% from 3 in 24 games for the Baylor Bears, and will be playing for Baylor again in the 2025 season in his junior year. Joining Langston Love as a guard off the bench, they had Zeb Jackson, who was a 6'2 senior. Zeb was the 77th ranked recruit in the 2020 class. He got offers from Arizona State, Butler, Illinois, and so many other schools, including Ohio State, Virginia, and Wisconsin. He ended up committing for the Michigan Wolverines. Jackson's first 2 years for the Wolverines were definitely forgettable. He only appeared in 20 games, averaging around 2 points and 1 rebound a night, and then ended up transferring to VCU in his junior year, where he averaged 5 points and 1.7 assists and 1.5 rebounds in 35 games in the 23 season, which was his junior year. And then last year, in his senior year, he appeared in 36 games, averaged 30 minutes a night, and scored 11.5 points, averaged 4.5 rebounds, and 3.3 assists a night, and will be playing at VCU again for his COVID eligibility year for the 5th season. Another end of the bench guy, you had Jesse Jones, who ended up playing for the Florida State Seminoles. He only appeared in 3 games in his sophomore year last year, hasn't really been a rotational guy at the collegiate level. You had Keegan Harvey, who was a 6'11 senior who committed to play at the College of Charleston, and then he transferred and redshirted in the 2022 season to the College of George Washington, and he's been a end of the bench guy there. You have 6'7 junior Michael Wu, who didn't end up playing collegiate basketball, even though he did originally commit to Eastern Washington. And lastly, on the bench, you had Hillel Barr, who ended up playing at Duquesne and has spent the last 2 years at Duquesne in Pittsburgh. Last year, he appeared in 32 games for Duquesne in just 8 minutes a night and averaged 2 points and 2 rebounds. So that is everybody from the perfect season of the Montverde Eagles back in 2020, where they went 25-0, 5-0, beat IMG Academy in the finals, and had 5 players from their starting lineup. Everybody in the starting lineup made it to the NBA. 4 of those guys were drafted in the first round, and what could go down as the greatest high school basketball team of all time. So let me know if you guys did enjoy this video. I'd appreciate it if you drop a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.